I don't know whether you want me to, well, I can refer to notes depending on what you want to know.
When we set up the interview with Joan, we ended up having to meet her at an extended stay hotel because that's where she's living now. Even though she's owed more than $800,000, she lost that money and she lost other investments and ended up losing her home. All right.
I didn't know we were doing all this, but okay.
In 2007, Joan Thompson was looking for a safe investment opportunity to help her and her husband through retirement. That's when she was introduced to Roger Soderstrom, a well-known luxury real estate executive who once owned Sterling Sotheby's International Realty.
I guess if you first of all just want to tell me a little bit about, you had some money that you wanted to invest and then
Yes,
what happened?
exactly. I invested $800,000 in this business, which was a business for people who wanted to rent suites. It was 20,000 square feet, and they were renting a suite. Each one would have 84 suites. So it was a big business, and we were expected, at that, putting that much money in, we were expected to get a good return, enough for our retirement.
And how was it sold to you as a good investment? How did they?
Well, we had a contract and everything, a big contract. Yes. And he bought one of the floors. He bought the floor, and it was the 15th floor. And he needed funds to do this. And so he got investors to fund it, and they get a percentage. I had 25% of the floor and 25% of the business.
But as the months went by and the money didn't come in, she became concerned. Before long, she learned her entire investment was gone.
And we thought our lives were going to go forward in a very positive way, but he destroyed it for us.
Roger Soderstrom filed for bankruptcy. Joan sued as part of the bankruptcy case, and she won. A judge found that Soderstrom told a well-placed lie to induce Thompson to give him $800,000, primarily to repay himself. Thompson was awarded a fraud judgment of $811,000 that couldn't be discharged in the bankruptcy. Soderstrom denied making false representations and appealed a handful of times, but he lost.
Well, we ended up speaking to an attorney in downtown Orlando. He's a bankruptcy attorney. He handles a lot of bankruptcies for large corporations in the Central Florida area. And he's someone that we've used as an expert before in talking about other cases. And we were sitting down with him to talk to him about what went on in this case. He looked through the court records. He saw the other investors' bankruptcies. He looked through the judgment that Joan won. And so to this day, he still owes that money.
Yes, with interest. And so she could continue to pursue it. He appealed that judgment twice, but lost. So she does have a valid judgment for $811,000 plus interest. It's probably well over north of $1 million now, and could try to collect it.
And what's the problem now, though?
The problem is him having been through bankruptcy. I assume now, moving forward, as he accrues or gets assets, he will put those in both he and his wife's name. And in Florida and a few other states, there's a way of holding property called tenancy by the entireties. It means you and your wife own it, or your wife and your husband own it as a unit. And it means that neither of you own it, the marriage owns it. And importantly, it means a creditor who's owed money by just one of the spouses cannot touch those assets.
Even though Soderstrom lives in a luxury condo overlooking Lake Eola in downtown Orlando and may have some assets, under Florida law, if those assets are in both his name and his wife's name, creditors can't go after them. It's called tenancy by the entireties.
And you haven't received a penny from
Not a penny, not a penny, because he's hidden everything and he keeps refusing to pay the judgment.
Yeah, it's a tough emotional situation for her because she and her husband are now having to stay in extended stay lodging while the person who owes her more than $800,000 is living in a luxury high-rise condo in downtown Orlando. She and her husband really don't know for sure what options they have or where they're going to be able to go if they do continue to run out of money or if they ultimately do run out of money.
He claims poverty. He doesn't have any poverty. He's in this high-rise building. He bought the condo. And the man is living like a millionaire. And he's left me like a beggar.
The thing we'd like to know is if he ever plans to pay her back. And we're certainly going to try to reach out to him and try to find out what he has to say about this.
She's still exploring legal options, hoping somehow, some way, she can find a way to collect the money she's owed.
He's basically made me a person who could very easily be homeless. And after what I've done in my life, I mean, I shouldn't be homeless. It's just not right.